Called my wife and said, "What's going on?"
The wind is going this way, but I'm concerned for everybody that way.
And this is why. Good evening, everyone. David Molko here with you on this Friday, where we continue to cover breaking news in the Columbia River Gorge and a wildfire that sparked this afternoon on the Washington side, fueled by dry terrain and gusty winds that has now exploded into more than 2,000 acres. The Burdoin fire, as it's dubbed, is burning east of the town of Bingen. That's essentially across the Columbia from the Mosier area. Right now, State Route 14, the main artery, remains closed between Bingen and Lyle. That's milepost 66 to 74. Here are the current evacuation zones with level 3 go now orders in effect. That's in red along the river and then up the hillside as this fire moves north and east. It's hard to tell, but these span for miles. The community of Lyle to the east, most of Bingen to the west, and the outside rectangle there in the green under a level 1 or be ready. Tonight, we have live team coverage with Celine Stevens watching the fire weather forecast. But first to Alma McCarty live on the Oregon side of the gorge. I mean, Alma, there is an orange halo behind you right now.
Yeah, David, certainly there is. You know, as we are just east of Mosier, I should say, and I can tell you as we move towards the eastern flank of the fire, this is the scene we encountered. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a clearer picture of what we are seeing on the ground here. It really looks almost apocalyptic across the Columbia with a giant orange glow on the hillside lighting up everything. Still burning trees, brush and grass, threatening homes, crops, and utilities. And at least one home we saw burn firsthand. Planes and choppers fighting the blaze from the air as winds whipped through the gorge Friday evening.
It's gorge wide. I was out to Rufus covering the action out there, the people having fun, and saw that wall of smoke coming.
Gusts from the west carrying the flames, embers, and smoke to the east.
Called my wife and said, "What's going on?"
The Burdoin fire missing Bob Stowicki's home in White Salmon, a few miles to the west, but tearing through trees and brush along the steep hillside east of the town of Bingen.
It's mostly grass, a lot of rock. It's steep terrain.
Then burning what appeared to be a home.
I feel terrible for those people.
Hundreds of acres charred quickly became thousands. The evacuation zones also exploding in size.
They were, first of all, I'll say in harm's way. It's a very hazardous area, but the houses were there. They built them many years ago, and I feel for the people.
The wind is going this way, but I'm concerned for everybody that way.
Some, like Mary, who lives in Washington, ventured to this vantage point for a better idea of what they're up against.
There's a huge bunch of smoke and fire going up the synclines over there, and it's going up in there. So, you know, I don't know. I see fire, you know, and it's very dry.
With the state mobilizing more crews to boost local power to help contain it.
I don't know how many of these fires I've covered over the last few summers, but, you know, they're never fun, and, you know, they move quickly.
And as you can see here behind me, these do move very quickly. It is just an incredible sight out here, again, across the Columbia. Now, in terms of shelter options, there is a Red Cross shelter for folks in White Salmon that is going to be at Columbia High School. And in terms of travel on State Route 14, those mileposts that were closed earlier, that 8-mile stretch from milepost 66 to 74, that will remain closed for the time being. David, back to you.
Man, those winds just whipping up behind you. Not good news for fire crews at all. Alma, really appreciate your reporting. Stay safe, all right? Okay, let's head to Central Oregon now, where the Cram fire has destroyed 6 buildings, officials say, including 4 homes. That fire, which broke out Sunday, is still burning northeast of Madras and has now grown to more than 95,000 acres. Evacuation orders, including level 3s, continue to grow in both Wasco and Jefferson counties. More than 700 crews are on site working to protect homes and to contain that blaze. All right, let's bring in Celine Stevens now in for Matt. Celine, let us head back to the gorge because we saw it with Alma. Those winds are just howling.
Definitely, David. Yeah, all day long we've been seeing that. And in fact, although Alma's hair was whipping in that live shot, winds have actually started to die down as we've gone later on into the evening compared to what we saw earlier this afternoon. Right now, taking a look at the Dalles, earlier we were able to see the smoke in the area. Right now, those wind speeds 14 miles per hour. Again, in the Dalles, that fire is across the river. Wind gusts, though, still getting up to around 22 miles per hour in that region. And so taking a look at those gusts again, around 30 minutes ago, they were around 30-mile-per-hour gusts. Right now, sitting at around 22. You can see other areas like Portland only dealing with 17. But again, they've been seeing those stronger gusts all day long, earlier around the 35-mile-per-hour mark, mixed with, of course, that low humidity as well. And so we were looking at those humidity levels all day long. Right now, Portland at 70% humidity, almost doubled from what we were seeing earlier today. But look at the Dalles in that region, still seeing that lower humidity. That said, earlier they were around 23%, now sitting at around 31%. So humidity has been increasing, which is good in terms of reducing those fire conditions. That red flag warning we saw earlier has expired at 10 p.m. That doesn't mean it's not going to return tomorrow, but just want to put out there that warning has expired. Looking at our temperatures, 63 here at home, lots of 60s. The Dalles, that region over to the east, still seeing warmer temperatures, 75 degrees over there. And today was a hot one in certain areas. Looks like we got to the mid 80s, while areas over to the east, Hood River sitting at 86 for their high, the Dalles sitting at 90. But taking a quick look is what we're going to be expecting over the next couple of days. As we get into Saturday, at least here in Portland, we're looking at low 80s. By Sunday, we see the 70s return with some clouds to come with it. By Monday, low 80s yet again. David, we'll talk more about what else to expect in a bit.
Appreciate it. Glad to hear the winds appear to be backing off, however slight. Thanks, Celine. Stay with KGW, of course, for updates this wildfire season, with the latest on these blazes available anytime at KGW.com or on our KGW mobile app. And you can stream us anytime on our free TV app. That is KGW+. Developing this evening in Northeast Portland, the aftermath of a deadly daytime shooting in a Safeway parking lot. Catherine Cook's in the newsroom. So, Catherine, what are you learning?
David, police haven't released many details, but several witness accounts indicate the shooting may have been connected to a vehicle break-in.
Hearing there's just a dead body in the middle of the parking lot, that's shocking.
Customers filled a Safeway parking lot on Northeast 70th and Sandy. Just feet away, police launched a homicide investigation.
This stuff can happen literally anywhere.
Just before 4 Friday afternoon, officers responded to shots fired. When they got here, they found a man dead on the asphalt. Police took someone into custody after finding them in a vehicle. That person wasn't hurt, but they went by ambulance to the hospital for a medical evaluation. Investigators focused heavily on this white van surrounded by red tape.
I was close by.
Rod Grooms says he saw someone trying to break into the van. Not long after that, Grooms says he saw another man run across the parking lot toward the van. Moments later, he heard gunshots.
The guy's van, that's his work truck, so he was trying to protect it.
Other witnesses shared similar stories with KGW. Police have not confirmed those accounts, but say they'll release more details as their investigation continues.
It's depressing, crime being the way it is, especially in this little neighborhood.
Police haven't released the names of those involved. They are asking for the public's help. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact detectives. We've posted their information on KGW.com. David.
Catherine Cook in the newsroom. Thanks, Catherine. To get you caught up now on tonight's other headlines, the victim in what appears to be a random attack Thursday morning on the Convention Center Max Station platform has now died. Meanwhile, the suspect made his first court appearance, charged with felony assault. 30-year-old Jordan Christ is accused of punching the victim in the head while he was waiting for a train. Chris pleaded not guilty and will remain in custody. No word yet if charges have been upgraded. A Portland man has been sentenced to more than 8 years in prison after an accidental but deadly shooting. Last November, Michael English says he was cleaning his gun in a friend's apartment when the gun went off. The bullet struck this woman, 40-year-old Angel Guy, but also hit English in the hand. English briefly evaded police custody while getting treatment at the hospital. Police caught up with him, and he was charged with criminally negligent homicide. And a federal judge has temporarily put a hold on a new Washington law that would require clergy to report child abuse. That requirement would have also applied even if the abuse was revealed during confession. Catholic leaders filed a lawsuit arguing the law violates religious freedoms and unfairly targets the church. Attorneys for the state defended the law, saying it is necessary to protect children. The law was set to take effect in less than 2 weeks. Now to the latest on the local impact of the Trump administration's immigration policies with a Newburgh man who ran a vineyard services company and who was arrested by ICE last month and new this evening. His family has confirmed that he's now been deported to Mexico. John Adams has the story.
As soon as I found out the court date, I got my stuff ready and drove back up to Tacoma.
Alondra Sotelo Garcia says the past month has been difficult for her family. Her father, Moises Sotelo, who was operating a wine services business in Newburgh, was arrested in June by ICE agents. At a court date in Tacoma earlier this week, the family found out Sotelo is being deported to Mexico.
We said our final goodbye on court date, and then I said, I'll see you on the other side. He gave me a big old smile with tears in his eyes. He says, I know. And he was able to walk off with a big old smile.
Sotelo Garcia spoke with us from a San Diego airport. Her father has been transferred to Arizona from Tacoma and is scheduled to be deported to Nogales, Mexico.
Maybe an hour ago, I checked again, and his information was no longer available. So I'm assuming that they're actively moving him right now.
Sotelo Garcia plans to meet her father across the border once she receives confirmation from him that he is in Nogales. Another one of Sotelo's family members says Sotelo's wife is planning to move to Mexico to be with her husband once he finds a place to live. They tell me this process has been tough on her.
I'm sure that my mom haven't slept all night about this situation because it's not easy for her.
Sotelo has still been able to communicate at times with the manager of his vineyard service, still providing guidance while in custody.
But he can still help us. Even though he's not physically here, he can still guide us and help us over the phone and through FaceTime and all of that kind of stuff.
Sotelo Garcia tells me her father has kept a positive attitude despite the struggles of the past month.
That is one of the most optimistic men I know in my life. He makes something positive out of something so crappy.
John Adams, KGW News.